So good afternoon, Adolfo.
Good afternoon.
So we have just had a 2-day workshop on mediation here with teachers of foreign languages, Estonian as their second language and so on. So what are your first impressions?
Very positive. I have enjoyed the workshop very much. It's been a pleasure to facilitate the workshop, and all the teachers were very interested, and they were very hardworking too. And yeah, you could feel that they had this need to know about the concept of mediation and its relation to action-oriented approaches. And yeah, for a teacher, it's always perfect if you can feel that learners, in this case teachers, need to learn about the thing, because
the curiosity
and motivation is very important. But apart from that, as I said, yeah, it's been very positive, because yeah, we've carried out all the activities, and yeah, very good impressions that I've had.
A little bit background from the area where you come from. So what are the main focus areas in foreign language teaching in Spain right now?
Well, if I think of primary and secondary education, I would say that now, even though we have applied the communicative approach for decades now, but it is, almost recently, I would say 10, 15 years, that we really have a focus on communicative competence. In a way, we were supposed to be fostering communicative competence, but it has taken time for teachers to change their methodologies, for materials to be under that umbrella of the communicative approach. So now I can see, because I'm based at the university, no, I'm not a primary or secondary teacher, but from what I see, from what I hear, or in some teacher training sessions, I can see that the teachers are more aware of that communicative approach, and also they have moved beyond, because they have started using action-oriented approaches. So there's this big move from the Ministry of Education in Spain, and there we have these basic regulations from the ministry at national level, but then each region can develop their own regulatory norms and everything. So there's this big move towards learning situations, they call them there. Yeah, there are situations with different tasks and steps and phases. It's closely related to action-oriented approaches. So yeah, that's the step, the most recent step that they have taken. So yeah, the focus now is for learners to develop their communicative competence.
Very interesting, yeah, so that you have materials and you prepare the teachers. So this is the next question. How are teachers prepared at Granada University or in general in Spain?
Well, to become a teacher, you need to, first of all, you have to get your degree in primary education if you want to become a primary teacher, and then for secondary teachers, you have to get a degree, and then all of them, if you're gonna work in the public sector, you have to take these public examinations to become civil servants, and if you pass that examination and you get the position, the first 2 years you are placed somewhere for you to learn, and then you get your final destination, right? So I would say that they changed it a bit. So before it was the degree and then some kind of they call it pedagogical adaptation certificate, so that someone who had studied history could learn the basics of didactics and everything, but now it's a master's degree. So they secondary school teachers, they have to pursue their degree, and then they have to pursue a master's degree also to become a teacher. And yeah, they're
but
much
it's
better
the same
prepared.
For the language teachers?
Yes.
It's the same
So
for the language
yeah,
teachers?
Language teachers, yes. They this master's degree has different areas. So yeah, you can follow the foreign language teaching path, so you can become a foreign language teacher.
So for the due day workshop we had here, we had language teachers, language experts, university teachers. So their background was language and teaching language. So the next question, what we are really interested in and having in focus in Estonia is L1 and L2. So language, first language, the second language, or foreign languages. So what are the difficulties Spain is facing in the sense of languages and teaching and learning different languages?
Well, in Spain we have several co-official languages, we say, because we have one official language, Spanish. Then we, in some regions we have two languages, Spanish and another language. So the situation in those regions are different from the rest of the country, where there are only one official language, of course. So I would say that in terms of L1, in these bilingual areas, there has always been some issues about, you know, the percentage of how many hours do they have to learn in one or the other language, and it's a political issue too, like in many places. So, you know, but taking that side, the political side of it, there are some regions where you have fluent bilinguals. They can speak both languages. In some areas they don't, so they focus on one language, not only the other. And we have another issue, I would say, nowadays with L1, which is the migrants L1. So we have more and more migrants from other countries, and yeah, they bring their own L1 or L1s with them, and sometimes, you know, the kids, they keep their L1 at home, but they don't have any instruction in the schools. So that's something that we will need to take care of in the future too. So yeah, that's the situation about L1. Foreign languages, I would say that we've been working on the development of the foreign language areas for many decades, and I would say that even though Spain still falls a bit behind in terms of foreign language competencies as compared to other countries, I think it's getting better. I can see, for example, university students, when they get to the university, I can feel that they have, you know, more skills, and they are more fluent, and they are also more aware of the importance of learning foreign languages, such as English, mostly, of course. But in some high schools, they also offer other languages, French, German. Now Chinese is getting big there too in Spain. So yes, I would say that it's getting better.
So what do you think, what in the Estonian context, what do you think, what is the most popular foreign language or skyrocketing?
Well, I've heard that Spanish is killing it now.
Yeah. It is Spanish.
So yes, now Spanish is, you know, it's in fashion all over the world.
Meaningful for students, right?
It's meaningful. I mean, of course, Spanish has never been associated to business that much as compared to English, for example. But now it is. Like, there's this economic links with, you know, the Latin American countries and everything. So there's that economic side to the language, but also the cultural aspect of the language. Thanks to internet now and the streaming services, for example, now you can watch series, shows, movies in those platforms all over the world. And I've had some students coming from abroad telling me that they've watched this and that show in those platforms, and they have watched them in Spanish with subtitles. So there's this new push towards consuming cultural products in Spanish, and of course music too, with fashion,
influencers.
Yes, influencers. I mean,
and climate.
Climate too. Yeah, there's a lot of speakers of the language. So yeah, it's with internet has been very beneficial for Spanish learning. And yeah, it's in fashion now.
Yeah, true. So coming from the state level, we were discussing L1 and L2. So coming down to the teachers level. So the workshop here has been on mediation for 2 days. So it's a rather new concept for our context and for the teachers here. So what would be those 3 key words or aspects that you would like to stress for the teachers who do not know much about mediation?
Okay, yes, it's a rather hard concept to pin down when it comes to learning, language teaching and language learning, because mediation is is connected to other fields of communication outside language learning too. But when it comes to language learning, I would say that mediation, first of all, is much related to the concept of agency, learning agency, and also a social agency, because by mediating between people, between texts and people, between interlocutors, etc., we are truly employing our linguistic competencies and communicative competencies, etc., to get things done, because you are taking care of a communicative situation in which there are people who need your help or can do things better with your help, and that increases learners' sense of agency. They can do things, they can get things done by mediating. So agency is key there. The other thing I would say is transversality, because mediation is connected to the other modes of communication, so it involves reception and production and interaction. It's related to many areas of competence, communicative competence, so in a way it permeates the whole construct of the communicative competence, but also the foreign language learning construct. So yeah, transversality, like it is everywhere. Mediation, many other things are everywhere too, all over the communicative competence, but mediate really permeates all the competencies. And the third key element, which is related actually to the first one, is that new place for the learner as a mediator, as someone who helps, who contributes to the interaction and to the construction of meaning, of course, but above that also contributes to society. So mediation has this societal dimension of inclusion, of working towards an inclusive society, help others integrate in the community. So it has that dimension that goes beyond language learning and connects to my development as as a member of society. So I think it transcends the walls of the language classroom. All those competencies and abilities you're gonna learn as a mediator, you can transfer to society easily, and you will contribute to society, to the integration of people in society. So yeah, it's also a way of allowing language teachers a role as language educators, a role which we have been denied for many years. Like, you are in charge of language, that's it. But now we have the opportunity to go beyond that and educate, not only teach, but also educate.
Yeah. This is, I remember you studied that. We are not talking about only teaching language, but this is way more that we do. So this workshop was very motivational and also opened different aspects of mediation. So we think that we know already something, but coming from your side, so you opened us different nuances to look into. But the question for you, what inspires you in the field of pedagogy lately? What have been interesting findings that you have met?
Well, I mentioned that in the workshop. Of course, the companion volume of the CFR, the Common European Framework of Reference for Language Teaching and Learning and Assessment, that document is truly, the source of all the shift of mediation and action-oriented. And I forgot to mention that mediation is very important when it comes to action-oriented approaches, because when we ask students to carry out tasks in a scenario or a learning situation, they will have to mediate all the time. So that was like the springboard, so to say, for me to focus on that construct, mediation itself. But as I mentioned in the workshop, I had been working on some things before that. So for example, the role of my students, my learners, L1 in the classroom, I have conducted some research on pedagogical translation, so the use of translation not to become a translator, but to be able to learn the language. In a way, cross-linguistic mediation I was doing before even knowing that I was doing cross-linguistic mediation, because that concept had not been fully developed. Also, I've always conducted group work, cooperative learning, and I have tried to give my students the tools, not only the linguistic resources for the tasks themselves, the grammar and the vocabulary and everything, but also the skills, and most importantly in the foreign language classroom, the language resources to be able to use those skills. And then I realized cognitive mediation in the companion volume. So the work that the Council of Europe did with the development of the companion volume was truly inspirational to me, and very useful too, because they gave me this map where I could put things that I have been working on, and all of a sudden I realized that all of them were connected, linked within this construct of mediation. So that was truly the springboard, and the authoring team of the companion volume, Brian North, Enrique Picardo, and the authoring group was, I think, very, very inspirational for me and for many other practitioners, because I can feel the same kind of recognition that I had when I saw the companion volume in other practitioners. Now, okay, now they're stating in black and white what I've been working on. Yes, I've been working on. So yes.
So you were on the right track.
Yes.
And, so you had the proof, research proof.
Yeah.
So, and coming to the student level. So, just to wrap up our short interview here. So, based on your experience, and you as a language teacher, so this is your main focus also, you consider it very important. So what kind of students do we teach here in the 21st century? What do you think?
Good question.
In the sense of language.
Yes, it's a very good question, because I think that what we have right now is a very diverse profile of students. And that's because they have so many opportunities to learn the language. They have so many resources and tools, and they can come up with so many different ways of learning the language, that we teachers have to be very cautious about and very attentive to to that variety of learning strategies and learning styles, and we've always had that in mind, of course, because not all our students learn the same way, but that
Now,
has been multiplied.
In order then not to get lost, right?
To get lost, in order for them to feel that agency, that they are in control of the learning process. And by being in control, I'm not meaning that they don't make any mistakes or quite the opposite. Is to realize that they're making mistakes.
It's okay.
It's okay, of course, but they can also try new things to avoid those mistakes, and they can regulate their learning, they can set goals, and they can, think about the steps towards those goals. And yeah, it's more like, it's not only autonomy, because agency is, bigger than autonomy, but it's truly related to the fact that they need to be in charge of the learning. And as teachers, we need to be there to facilitate that process, especially nowadays, because they have tools to learn, but they also have tools to avoid learning, like AI generated text and everything, which is like a big discussion. But we teachers, we have to focus on the things that AI cannot do or won't be able to, because I think that there are things that in relation to learning that AI won't be able to do, so we have to focus on that. You can interact with a chatbot, no problem, but a chatbot won't be able to be attentive to the emergent language of the situation. So teachers are very good at that, are very good at supervising learners and see how they are constructing with the language, and when there's some emergent language, to take advantage of that and give them the scaffolding for them to continue, and the machine cannot do that.
Could that be a next workshop about?
Well, that's a very interesting topic. And feedback
I challenge
also.
you.
Yeah.
So prepare the material.
And feedback too. Yes, the AI can give you feedback on form, of course, accuracy maybe, but then there's more to that. When you give feedback, you have to be, and teachers, we know that we have to say things in a certain way for students to, be receptive, and that's something, another role that the teachers will always have to do, and the machine won't be able to. So we have students, coming back to the question, nowadays we have students who are more capable because of the tools that they have. They are more resourceful, but they still need to be, the learning process needs to be facilitated by teachers, and we have to be there, even with more eyes, if I can say that, because there are more options for them. So we have to be there as consultants to guide them.
So teachers won't be replaced by
I don't
machines.
think so.
Yeah,
I don't think
same
so.
here.
We are some of our tasks, yes, and we will have to be careful about how we let AI take over those tasks, because, for example, lesson planning, yes, AI can plan lessons easy, but then you have to go over those lessons because they're like they are like the structure of a lesson. Then there's always much more
that you can do,
that you can adapt, and you cannot take that step by step to the classroom. So yes, we will have to supervise all those tasks that AI can take over, but some others I think they won't, because some students learn the language just for the fun of learning the language. We cannot forget about that. We always think about students who are forced in a way to learn the language, but some people learn the language just because they like the language, because they like to go somewhere to learn the language talking to other people, including the teacher. And that social dimension of learning, that can't be replaced by AI. So yes, I think we won't lose our jobs.
Yeah,
because of the personal dimension of learning.
Yeah, social dimension and personal contacts. So these are important.
Yes.
So Adolfo, once again, thank you on behalf of Estonian Estonian Language Institute and on behalf of everybody who participated here. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.